Welcome back, everyone. After a very dominant game two from SDC Death Cards came straight out of left field, going 2-0 up on AOE Unleashed here tonight. Again, this was not on the books. This was not on the table. This was not in the prediction cards tonight here, DJ.
Yeah, and I think it definitely wasn't on the prediction cards after game number one, which was
No.
so scrappy between these two teams. They fought back and forth. They showed very good plays. They showed that they each had win conditions. But this game was just unbelievable from SDC Death Cards. And so here's my little bear. He's gonna turn on in celebration of SDC
Okay.
Death Cards' incredible achievement. You see the
I can do that.
flashing lights. That's he is celebrating SDC Death Cards because a perfect game does not come around too often, and neither does my little bear get this excited that often. So congratulations to you, SDC Death Cards, on a perfect game. You can hang your hat on that for the rest of the season, no matter where you end. Now your task, keep that momentum up and finish this series up in clean 3-0 fashion to move yourselves truly into the top of Excellency Heavy League and in contention for the title.
Yeah, right now, if I was looking at standings right now, Death Cards before tonight already top. They were already only one game down above Lotus as well. Everyone was predicting Lotus to be the top team. Now, after game two and even after game one as well, after a really scrappy early game and then managing to find just enough of a lead to be able to close out of it, right? And then game two, I mean, game two happened. Death Cards 100% looking like the top team in Heavy League here tonight, looking towards the other games currently happening around Heavy League as well. For Monkeys 1 Coach currently in game 2, currently in game 1 for Monkeys taking it over Lotus, another upset there, and then AOE Hope versus MG AOE taking game 1 over them as well, now currently sitting in their game 2. But back into this series, we've got a game 3 on our hands, and we've got a Lee Sin blind picked just as his champion is here for Death Cards.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, there were 2 weeks ago we were playing around the horn, or 2 or 3 weeks ago. We asked what a B1 pick was. I said Lee Sin. I got crapped on for it, and here we are 2 weeks later. Guess what? He's blindable because there's no one that can really counter him. You can pick stuff into him that's good, but not great, and he pairs up in a mid-jungle duo very nicely. So SDC, they're going to hop right back onto the early game train, but they will get some early game answers. Olaf is one of those picks you can take into Lee Sin, and Caitlyn will provide the range for Paxax that he did not have in the last game with that against that Lucian Braum.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about bot lane a little bit in game 2, right? But really the star of the show was the top lane. Top lane 100% decided it, which we did talk about a little bit in pre-show, right? But then it was just like, where did that come from, man? Like, Set gets a double kill before 3 minutes, and then it's like, well, guess there's a Gore Drinker in this lane now. So bot lane, like, yes, you could talk about Paxax might have been slightly uncomfortable on less of an AD carry that is built for carrying, but it's just, they weren't really allowed to play bot lane once Set was so big, and then the lane just collapsed in on itself after they took the top outer tower, mid outer tower, bot lane outer tower, and Death Cards here, picking a very different comp. This is not the comp that we saw in game 1 or in game 2, trying to show their flexibility here and maybe just practicing something new in game 3 here.
Yeah, potentially, although, okay, the Taric makes it a little bit harder, but Leona Kaisa kind of can be a kill lane at level 3 if you're not respectful. The combo of the damage, I mean, Leona can basically solo kill any AD carry, let's be real about that, but the Kaisa damage procs, you do get that extra proc of the passive. If you land your W in the Kaisa combo, you almost certainly die at level 3. It's a pretty common way to play the lane, but Kaisa is definitely more of that scaling AD carry who will struggle in this lane because the range of Caitlyn just very high. All you have to do is respect the Zenith Blade coming out from the Leona on SDC Death Cards, and you will now have the Taric to protect you, to give a little bit of peel away from that if you do hold your stun. So, like the response from AOE Unleashed, and they'll be likely working on something too, as Taric, Caitlyn, not exactly a traditional lane that we would see. So we'll see what the experimentation is, but SDC Death Cards can still play the early game that did suit them so well in game 2. You remember I said, Cam, they were playing to win pre-25 minutes. They needed to win 25 minutes. They certainly held up their end of the bargain on that one.
Yeah, they absolutely did, but I do want to talk about a little bit more for this bot lane here for AOE Unleashed. It is slightly strange to pick Targ after you pick a Caitlyn like you were saying, DJ, because Targ, very short range enchanter though, so he can heal up Caitlyn, but very short range, typically paired with a short range AD carry, and especially paired with an all-in AD carry. Caitlyn, definitely not an all-in AD carry, but then Zillion locked in makes me think that we are actually going to be getting the handshake top lane that we were promised. Tark into someone else from Death Cards, potentially a Zillion mid, so I could still be wrong, could still be Tark support, but I am actually expecting this to be a Zillion Caitlyn bot lane here for AOE.
Could be. That's quite risky into Leona, I would say, with the Zillion. I think that could still be mid. It is interesting to see it blind. What I'm more interested in is that this just might be the Never Die comp coming out with Eric and Zillion, which honestly screams Mel Scout comp, which we did not hear from Paxax coming into the day, right? He was saying he was going to be taking his camps, it was going to be all about him, and so far the series has been all about Death Cards, so AOE may be making a big pivot to another member on their squad. Oh boy, oh no. Teacher, dude, I said it in chat, I know you and Raven Cat are close, but if you keep doing this, you guys aren't going to be friends at the end of the night.
Oh no, I don't think they were friends after game 2 there, I'm not gonna lie, that one.
Picking Darius, dude, come on, that is so mean after game 2.
Like, you lock in a Tark, this is going to be a Tark top lane here unless they roll swap it around and it's going to be a Zillion top lane, but I am fully expecting a Tark top lane here into Darius. That is not a matchup I am familiar with whatsoever. DJ, do you have anything?
I mean, no, because we rarely see Tarek in the top lane,
Yeah.
and we will see when they get into Champions Select what they do here. There is a possibility that Zillion goes top. You still could take the Tarek in the bottom lane. I imagine the Cassio will go into the mid lane against the Silas. It's a pretty solid matchup there against him because, of course, you can cancel his dash and his entry with your Miasma, keep him at bay, and the steal on your ultimate isn't really that effective. The range just isn't great for the Silas, and it is better in the Cassio's hands. So we'll see if it is this Tarek in the top lane. My guess is that all Ravencat wants to do is just neutralize, just stay as far away as humanly possible. Get that stun ready because you're gonna need it, right? You don't win those trades even with your enhanced autos on your passive. The bleed will ruin you in the early game, and as we've all seen, Darius is just like a set in the first 3 levels. Must be respected. Those are probably 2 of the 3 or 4 strongest top laners in the first 3 levels. So this will all be about management for Raven Cat, and at the very least, we can say he's not on a champion that needs to all in like the Aurelia was.
Yeah, I just want to talk about this R5 Cassiopeia here a little bit more. I really like this R5 Cassiopeia here for AoE, right? Because Cassiopeia, you pick her when the enemy team is trying to engage, trying to just all in on you. And that is the entire team composition, team identity built for Death Cards here. They're all trying to all in, they're all trying to dive. Cassiopeia, she has a Targ ult to save her, she has a Zillion ult to save her, Caitlyn can be autoing safely from behind her as well, and then Olaf can be a very safe engage just in case they are trying to engage, but I don't think in any world AoE wins an engage if that's what they're playing for. They win the very strong disengage, you burn all of the summoners, you burn all of the ultimates from Death Cards, and then that's when you're able to go, and that's when Cassiopeia is able to shine, and this, again, just a massive draft improvement from game 2, where AoE, they had a strong draft if they were able to play as 5 and if they were able to play on an even gold playing field, but it was just, it didn't have that one solid, like, this is our win condition type of champion, and in this game 3 here, Cassiopeia is definitely that champion.
It certainly could be. I think the revives on the Cassie will definitely be more defensive. She will be most of their damage, but a lot of these supportive picks might be there for Mel Scout on this Olaf. As much as we want to set up this Cassiopeia, I very much fear for the Cassio's life, even with 2 revives around her. There is a lot that can catch her out on this composition. The Kai'Sa repositioning can easily get behind your ultimate and split your focus. So It's going to be tricky for Capitals to navigate this, even with as
Yeah.
many defensive tools as he has on his team. There is no front line. It's very easy to get in. It's going to be about timing rather than about body blocking for this Cassiopeia. And sure, if it all goes well and you get the ultis off and you get the timing right, this Cassio can dish out damage. But the mobility on the enemy comp, I just don't think is very conducive to a Cassio carrying. Even if they go in and don't kill you or get you into the Zillion ult, they can just dash out or just run away out. I don't. It still feels very hard for me to Capitals to carry this game. It feels very experimental for AOE Unleashed, and if they are putting all of their eggs into this Capitals basket, well, Capitals, I'm hoping you have the game of your life, buddy, because you might need to.
I mean, if you look at game 2, yes, he has to have a game of his life to win that type of game. But if you look at game 1, it was a really close matchup. That was the type of game that you get to see in a game 3, and it was very surprising to have that type of game in a game 1. And game 3 here, I'm thinking, just based on team comps alone here, should be much more similar to game 1 than to game 2, right? Because you have that insurance policy of the Zillion, of a little bit of the Caleb, but mostly the Cassiopeia for AoE. So even if you do lose that hard, which I'm really not expecting again in game 3 here, but if you do lose that hard again, you do actually have a solid insurance policy other than just a Soraka. And Soraka's not gonna do the damage that you really need. Death cards similar comp in their identity, still very engage early on, still very pre 20-minute comp, but they do have a little bit more in store for them to the 30-minute mark. They have a lot more CC. They can steal ultimates away with Silas, which is going to scale up very nicely with him, right? But then past the 30-minute mark, it's much more in AoE's hands if they are able to pull it out that long.
Yes. Question mark, right?
Question mark.
AoE Unleashed has one way to win this game, and it is team fighting, right? You either have to enable your Olaf with Mel Scout, or you have to enable and protect random capitals, which means you have to get there. You have to set up for fights properly, and you do need to 5v5 because nobody on this team really wants to side lane. Cassio is not really a side laner, nor is Olaf, and there are two members on AoE, or excuse me, on SDC that can side lane. So Silas and Darius in the late will provide pressure in the side lane. They also, importantly, and this is really the win condition for SDC, is they once again give you prio for SDC in the early game. And this is hard prio. This isn't even like as bad as game 1, where I thought the mid lane matchup should have been a little more even. Set definitely wins the top lane matchup in the first 3 levels. Darius wins this matchup in the first 3 levels easy. That's a free push. Silas wins this matchup in the first 3 levels as well. So Nore will have the run of the map. And if SDC wants to, they can just play this out again for that early snowballing. They have a safety condition in the Kaisa, and they can play split pushing if the game does devolve into the later stages and try to collapse onto Cassiopeia. So while the option in the 5v5 team fight is there for AoE Unleashed, I don't think SDC ever needs to opt into it because I don't really see them falling that far behind. AoE Unleashed needs to keep themselves in the game long enough to force SDC to come to objectives. Otherwise, I still favor SDC's draft.
All right, and with that, we will be going into spectator delay now. Joining you very shortly on the Rift will be Axeman and Finnick once again. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here for hopefully a very close game 3 to SDC Death Cards, currently 2-0 up on AoE Unleashed. Looking to make it a 2-1 here for AoE now in game 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, NBs of all ages, welcome back to the Excellency Heavy League Week 5 matchup between SDC Death Cards and AOE Unleashed. My name is Fennec, joined on the desk today, as always, by Axeman87, and a perfect game, Axeman, in game number 2 for SDC Death Cards. We'll see if AOE Unleashed are able to strike back in game number 3.
We
Or
certainly
Meatball
will.
getting a little bit of hyphy.
Yeah, Nori taking some damage there. But like the Mel Scout on the Olaf. He's got the Conqueror. He's got the Ghost. All good things for him here. I was about to face check that, but
He doesn't know Heater's here. Soccer dives in with the abscond abduct. Mel Scout, no!
Wow. Okay.
And I got the spectator bug. Oh wait, he disappeared. He disappeared. Well, no, that's his current respawn. Okay, so for everyone who knows, who didn't know this patch spectator is broken. Also, Mr. Ravencat
Whoa,
is.
Mr. Ravencat, bro.
That's
Mr.
insane.
Ravencat. This is kind of. It didn't look good. Heater definitely killing him there, but he's Terror top, so I don't know how much we expected. Personally, my expectations were low. Mel Scout on the Olaf does go down for first blood there, but he's gonna start on the bot side, try and get his way around the map.
Is it just me, or is the score at the time top broken for you, Axeman? Is it just me?
No, mine's good.
Game score, it says 4-0.
That would be wrong.
Okay, Riot needs to fix their spectator client, and that's fun.
For sure there. Full trade down bot side. Nothing too big though. Both teams still trying to figure each other out, I guess. Remember, things kind of go south for AOE in the top side of the map with the jungler and the top laner there in Mel Scout and Ravencat. Everywhere else on the map seems to go pretty well even with the death cards here.
Yep. I can't see CS either. Or gold. Oh boy. No, I can't see gold. I can't see CS. That's fun. Alright. Pierce Blade gets a stun on the Orange Meatball. Comes up with the Zenith Blade. Aftershock proc, and BB Poppy goes low, but Orange Meatball goes down first. And Pierce Blade gets the kill credit.
BB just barely making it out of that one. Not a lot of health left whatsoever.
Flash forward from Paxax, and he gets a BB Poppy though.
Yeah,
and it didn't even look like a BB Poppy went down on my screen. I'm gonna try to see if there's a way to fix this. I'm gonna actually reload my game and try to resync Axeman. You solo cast for a minute or so.
Gotcha. Ravencat hooked back in with Apprehend, but it's Mel Scout looking for Nore. This could be Mel Scout versus Heater and Nore here, and I was a little bit optimistic about the Olaf's chances against the Darius as Heater, just whips him down. Random capitals. Trade back and forth, but here comes the cavalry. And they're going to go down there too. All right. Things not looking too good for AOE right out of the gates. 2k gold lead across the pond to the death cards. BB managing to lane solo against Orange so far, but he's not looking very healthy after just a couple seconds of doing so. Those bombs hurt, folks. Random capitals. It's engaged on here. Just a little bit of damage coming out of the Silas. That'll lease in, nothing too much. The Pierce Blade back into the lane. Paxax is coming back in there too. I believe Mel Scout's going to try and start up this drone. He's got the scuttle crap there.
I'm back. Hopefully spectator bug has been fixed. I apologize, guys. My Right needs to fix their spectator client. That's pretty much it. Double bomb on Pierce Blade bot side. 7 kills to 2, so not perfect game number 2, but it is a great start for SDC Death Cards thus far.
Yeah, Orange Meatball has been a terror with the bombs up to this point. There's not much counterplay here for the death cards, so this might be finally a little bit of success coming AOE's away. Mel Scout down here trying to get some priority for his bot lane to rotate onto Dragon. It's up in 10 seconds. You want to try and have Dragon control if you're Olaf, as your 1v1 is so strong. But he might not get it here. Nore looking for the gank after this camp.
BB Poppy down at 200 health. He's got to be careful from the Caitlyn or the double bomb as well.
It feels super bad to leave those small Krugs there.
Oh, flash apprehend on the Ravencat. He's trying to trade this one back around with a stun, but There's nothing he can do. Heacher picks up the kill.
Yeah, not much there, right? Heacher just continuing to dominate this top lane.
So it might be worth mentioning. Taric top used to be his off lane or his like off meta. You could kind of run him top lane thing.
Yeah.
But that was pre-Taric rework. And as we take a look at this goal difference, like, if this were a handshake where it was like a Soraka from Heacher or something like that, if they did the handshake like perhaps they said they might have done, I think this would have been a fine pick. You know, going Enchanter v Enchanter would be kind of funny. But like now it's because Heacher decided to go on the Darius, it's next to impossible for Ravencat in this lane, and it's unfortunate. Grant you, he'll have an ultimate in fights, and that might be enough, right? He still has the ability to augment his team. And that's the advantage of an Enchanter in the top lane, is they don't necessarily have to win lane.
For sure. I think given that, though, you would hope that you also don't feed the enemy laner, right? And right now, Darius is in at 4-0, so not quite what they wanted. Now, light at the end of the tunnel, you know, optimism. Heacher doesn't have teleport, so difficult for him to force these advantages around the rest of the map. He's kind of got a right click there if he wants to kill anybody else on AOE, but for the time being, he is feasting on Ravencat. And that is going to be a problem for AOE later in this game. Just not so much now.
Yeah, Heacher level 7, Ravencat level 6, goes forward, apprehend, 1, 2, Ravencat pops ult, goes down regardless, didn't even need the Noxian Guillotine.
What? Yeah, you're right. Wow. I thought
didn't get a reset off of it. No, it just he killed him with an empowered audio from his crippling strike.
That's what. Oh no, it did go on cooldown. Yeah.
It did. Okay, I didn't see the animation for it, so
it's
I thought he didn't use it.
The indicator doesn't go away if he.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw it, but that would be wild if he didn't.
Oh, I thought I legitimately didn't see the Noxian Guillotine animation.
Yeah. No, you're fine. It was probably like the. Okay.
Both used Petrifying Gaze. Unfortunately, Capitals and Nico Soccer, their laners were turned away. So,
yeah.
Ult's used mid lane.
You got the gaze focused on the back of the head there. It's not gonna work. Not gonna work, but this bomb's still coming out from Orange Meatball, dealing a lot of damage. Probably some of the most damage on the game so far.
Heacher's 2 levels up. There's nothing he can do.
So as a jungler, Fennec,
that crippling strike. Paxax just a flash out of the way as VV Poppy tries to dive backside. No.
Yeah, as a jungler, it feels really bad when a Darius walks.
Ace in the hole. Pierce played late to the flash though. Sorry.
I mean, it sucks whenever somebody invades your jungle, but something about Darius just makes it very tilting. It's like, God, how did he get so fed, right? Now he's got red.
I mean, he's got Iron Spike Whip. He has enough for a Gore Drinker right now. Under the tower.
Wow. He's got ult back up, by the way.
There's the dunk. And the kill. Heacher, Rampage, 7-0-1. And he will take this tower at 9 minutes.
Yeah, he's really doing it
right. Lane, random Capitals, caught by Abscond, abduct as the Olaf ultimate gets stolen to Ragnarok's mid lane. Nora is here though. Safeguard's over as the first tower goes down at 9:15. That's the recall, and this is a 9.5 minute Gore Drinker on the Heacher.
Crazy, right? Just wild.
Oh, sorry, not Gore Drinker. Prowler's Claw. Or sorry, Stridebreaker.
Yeah, Stridebreaker, but like to see it there. A little unstoppable at this point, right?
Scout caught up by Norray and Pierce play. Gets a little bit of a heal for himself, but he will down. Norray ends up picking up the kill.
Good stuff
Random
there.
Capitals. He's in a 1v3. Flash. Oh, no. Nico Soccer was looking away. Random Capitals. Seeing the blade swing and a miss, but still stunned up. Norray picks up the kills. Pierce Blade takes the tower shot, and Rift Herald goes mid.
Wild there. They drop that off and get the charge off. Kill Random Capitals. Might go down here. Nope, gonna stay up. Perfect game, not not on the table anymore here for the death cards, but you know, you can still look to keep those KDs looking nice. 3 of them still haven't died yet. You have big shutdowns on them. Teacher's working on his second turret.
Sorry.
Yeah, and Paxax has been looking good all series long, right? I mean, it's been a really bright point here for this team. Facing the hole coming through. Just a little bit of extra damage. He's looking pretty low. Orange Meatball shows back up in the bot lane. And Davivi's gonna get the heck out of dodge. You don't want to get hit by those bombs, Fennec.
No, you don't.
I know I don't. Those things suck. I think they're like cupcakes. Kind of hard to tell. It's the sweet tooth skin, so. Mel Scout on the gank, walks over the ward. He's gonna have to walk right back out. Not good for the tempo there for the jungler.
Cake's coming down bot side though. Nico Soccer might look for Mel Scout. Znore is on a ward, but his team will clear that up just fine. They start the dragon. Mel Scout does have Ragnarok available. And they just seed it over.
Yeah. Tough call there. 5K between the two teams, and you really need like lane prio from one of your lanes if you're the Zoloft right now. That's just kind of how competitive gameplay works with Olaf. You can't run in and solo like you can. It's still.
Blessing Guillotine does not get a kill. He's got 4 stacks of Hemorrhage. Heater ignited up, flashes away.
Is he just gonna burn?
Still does not go down.
No, he's gonna stay up. Okay, all right.
Mel Scout in 1v3 though. Does have Ragnarok.
Oh man.
Ace in the hole used. Gets some damage. Snorri goes over the wall.
Teacher says in chat, "I'm bad." Mr. Ravencat responds, "Don't type to me." Don't talk to me, dude. I don't want to hear from you right now.
I mean, it's like when your friend's out of game, and then in game you're like, well, yeah, I gotta beat him, and then you kind of meme and are like, hey, let's handshake Enchanter's top 1 game, and then you don't communicate. Either you don't communicate that game number 2, or you just kind of, or game number 3, or you just kind of like don't realize that the Tarek's going top, or something of that nature, and then you pick the Darius. Like, I'm sure. Like, if this was an accident, Heater does not feel great about beating up on his friend. But if this wasn't an accident, I mean,
could have fooled me.
You gotta win. You
Yeah.
gotta win. Every game matters, right? In this, right? It's the equivalent of playing 3 BO1s. Mel Scout pops the ultimate, caught in an abscond abduct, but he is out. Heater though can't make the Q land.
Good stuff there from Mel Scout.
Solar Flare mid. Random Capitals gets stunned, but the Xenoblade came out a little bit earlier. Random Capitals now stunned as Nico Soccer absconds.
Okay.
Here comes the abduct, misses, but the stun has already landed. They steal the Petrifying Gaze, and it is a dead Random Capitals as Nico Soccer picks up the kill. BB Poppy though ignited up, takes the ultimate safety, has the extra shielding from. As the TP comes down from Nico Soccer, unable to make the Q land, but here comes Norray, gets the kick onto Paxax as the support falls, and Paxax next to follow, 3 for 0.
Paxax, no. Norray finds him eventually. Here's that gold graph back for you folks. Starting to look like a pretty tall mountain there. It's almost levels to it. It's like a mesa, something like that, but plateauing up at the top there. I'm sure that plateau will not continue to stay at that level. Probably gonna continue on up from there. 10K between the two teams. 2 dragons over here for the death cards and none for AOE. Man, that game 1. What I wouldn't do to watch another
like
game 1. Yeah, right.
What I would give on the comeback.
Yeah, definitely Mel Scout. Oh boy.
Apprehends, Noxian Guillotine, Heater unstoppable.
Did it go off? Because he got stunned like midway through it.
I honestly have no idea. The only person there was Heater from SDC Death Card, so it had to have. Nico Soccer though, ult over the wall, takes flash Paxax.
Well, I was asking because Because Meatball had stunned him like midway through the guillotine, so I wasn't sure if it had gone off. It did go off, so I guess you can't get stunned out of it. Similar to
Raven Cat on half health, pops the ultimate, and that one was not guillotine.
You talk about a mental, just a bunker buster for your mental there. Cosmic Radiance not going off in time has got to be on top. That's so rough, man.
Ready Capitals flash ult. Can't get the BB Poppy. That hurts.
It's just little mental errors now, right? Because you're in your own head.
They're playing on tilt.
Definitely.
I think we need to shut up about them playing on tilt because it's apparent, and to say it anymore is just. It's too much.
Sure, the flash ult, not gonna get the stun down there, just gonna go slow, and that will kill random capitals. Paxax's still doing okay. Still keeping up in CS, keeping up in I believe. Yeah, just a level down on Habibi. So definitely. You called this team a single threat team. I think that was probably correct. Paxax super strong on this team.
Here's the thing, Random Capitals, the first time we saw him, he was subbing in for AOE God Squad last season. In the last week, he played Seraphine. He dominated on Seraphine. Random Capitals looked extremely good. He looked good game number 1 until he kind of fell behind, but he won the lane phase on Lysandra. Right?
He did.
It's not like I call the AOE a single threat team, but it's not like they don't have players that can be other threats. It's that they design their team comps around Paxax. And the game, I feel like Random Capitals is like, all right, let's do it around me, but this isn't a good litmus test for that.
Ooh.
As Orange Meatball goes down, he gets his ult off, so unfortunately for Heater, he won't get the reset.
Yeah, that doesn't feel too good.
But this can't be a litmus test for, are they a single threat team, or can Random Capitals actually do that? Because the mental state is just not there to like actually make that qualitative discussion happen. At some point, I do think that this squad needs to figure out secondary carry threats. I think it's the same thing for the AOE God Squad team last season. It's part of why they didn't make it to finals. But, we'll see. Nico Soccer goes in an orange meatball. He flashes away as Leona gets a solar flare. Here comes the unstoppable Overlord as he picks up a kill onto the enemy mid laner. Pierce played though, dives into the backline with the Kaisa. That's 2 kills quickly over 2 death cards as Norai picks up the double. And they continue the push.
One more kill back to AOE. Nico Soccer goes down. That might be it.
And Raven Cat goes golden, and goodbye.
Ooh,
and
Pierce Blade is going to live.
Right.
Yeah, good stuff there. All right. See if they can't finish the game off here. Might back off for the time being. Take a look at individual gold, and yeah, it's about 1,300, 1,500 on everybody. So, 5,000, 6,000 gold, something like that. You want to make sure you're spending that. Objectives coming up. You get the Rift Herald, all that good stuff. So, ooh, Orange Meatball able to interrupt some backs. Good stuff here, Finnick.
Habibi, Poppy, and Mel Scout. And Lion, Mel Scout level 9 to the enemy ADC's level 11. Sneaker Soccer picks up the blue buff. They're positioning around this Baron, going to try to take it on spawn, I would have to assume, once again.
Yeah, that's where I would look for it anyway. Get you the Ocean Soul coming up soon. Well, Scout's actually going to get a red for himself. There's individual player gold for you. Heacher just way out in front, even of his own team. 3K out from Nore. 3.5K out from Habibi. Next closest AOE member is Paxax, and he's way out in front of Paxax.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's what it is, but That's what happens, I guess.
Definitely. Not really. I wasn't expecting this from Death Cards. I thought AOE would look really solid, but I mean, you look at the
I
record
expected
from
Death
this
Cards
team.
to win this series. I think Game 2 took too much of a toll. If we were playing like an actual triple round robin BO1 format instead of doing all 3 games at the same time, I think later in the season or if on a different week or something like that, after game number 2, like if they lost their second game like that, they'd be able to have time to recoup because it wouldn't all be on the same day. But because of the format, they don't have the ability to do that, and thus momentum is such a huge thing. And when you have negative momentum, that is harder to stop than positive momentum. There's a psychological phenomenon that is like negative emotions hit harder than positive ones. To put it in layman's terms, like that's an actual thing, and so it's much harder to stop you from feeling bad than it is to start feeling good.
Yeah, it's hard to get back on the horse. Here, Pierce Blade Hex Flash over the wall after taking the Baron.
Random Capital says 360 stacks on the tier, by the way, Twitch chat. I know you can't see that because items are broken on the main feed, but it is a fully stacked tier.
They are broken, aren't they? Oh, that sucks. It's an Everfrost or Nico, Gale Force for the BB. You know the stuff. This could be the end of the game here. Finnick each pushing for the dub. Baron minions.
Ace in the hole, tanked up by Pierce Blade. Heater tanking up the tower. Has a Baron minion pushing in. Apprehend onto the enemy jungler. Gets melted before the Turret ultimate comes down. Pierce Blade, though, might fall for it, so it's a jungler for support. As it's 1-4-1 mid. Ego Soccer, though, might be in a little bit of trouble from the rotation of AOE. Norway, though, he's here. Gets Q on Raven Cat, takes it over the wall. Ward hop and a kick! Heater goes legendary. Flash in from Heater. Another apprehend on a Paxax dunk. A little bit early, but it was the Zillion ultimate regardless. As Heater goes down to the tower, it is traded on to Raven Cat and Capitals.
Still maybe not able to end. Looking for another inhibitor.
A minute 30 on the Baron.
Yeah. We got that Dragon Soul up too, right? So gonna drop back onto that one. Look to complete that Dragon Soul for themselves. Noray's second soul this series. Actually, this is third?
I believe it is his third, yes.
Yeah. So all 3 games. Not too bad, right? Kind of the unsung hero. We talk about Noray as much as we can, but objective control isn't the most visual thing. And Noray has had some pretty good control there. His team's been backing him up. Resets come through. Be looking to push to end here. I don't think they're going to have Baron when they do it, but I also don't think they ever really needed it.
We'll see. They need to make it a little bit cleaner, right? That last push, they might have had the opportunity to end it off that, but they overdove with Heater. As they have about 20 seconds left on this Baron buff, they will push mid. Ego Soccer playing front line. Pierce played on the backside, waiting over the wall. As the BB makes his way in, and they continue to push top lane. Baron buff is now over. And it is 5 minutes on the Elder Dragon.
You like to see it. Mid inhib gonna go down. Top inhib not long for this world. This should be the game, Finnick. This is gonna be the series. It'll be 3-0 for the SDC Death Cards. Incredible.
I mean, it's absolute dominations, right? Game number 2 is a perfect game. And it is so rare to see that in competitive 5v5 League of Legends. So rare to see a perfect game, but even then, this game is looking extremely clean from them. Only 5 deaths thus far, and with the Cosmic Radiance down, with 6 super minions pushing into base, they will look to end here. One more team fight from AOE Unleashed if they choose to take it. Random Capitals does have the Petrifying Gaze.
Heacher got absolutely masses this game.
Indeed, and Heacher forces the ult out of the Olaf. Sneaker Stalker continues on this. He uses a Cosmic Radiance of his own for the entirety of his team, and just like that, SDC Death Cards take game number 3, take series 3-0.
Crazy series, not expected. I think this is the first time that prediction of mine has gone like the complete opposite direction. No, because I said 2-1 for AOE, so not the complete opposite, but it was definitely incorrect on this one. My bad, I guess, everybody. Not good prediction skills here. Definitely underestimated the SDC death cards, and we'll be moving them up in my power rankings. I don't know about you, Fennec. I mean, I'm
moving them up for sure. Anyway,
yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we return, Camcom and DJ will be with you on the desk, and an interview with one of the members. Death cards. We'll see which one. You won't want to miss it. Right after.